square feet of impervious if it is on pier foundation.
That's not a covered deck, correct?
That is a covered porch.
It seems to me you would need to, I realize it's on piers, but it would seem to me that you still have an impervious surface for rainwater collection.
Yeah.
Would be in your calculation.
I believe it is.
Can you confirm that? So we changed the calculation.
That's correct.
John, do the gutters serve, the rain gutters serve that porch? Or is that a question Julia would be able to answer?
That should, well, it just, the design specifies to provide enough collection of body gutters to the square footage requirement.
The question though is the porch, impervious roof of the porch included in the calculation of impervious surfaces?
I believe it is not included in the calculations.
Will that change the amount of water going into the stormwater system?
Well, the whole, I think the reason why it may, there may be an exception in the ordinance is because if it's on a tiered foundation, the ground underneath is still available as a pervious surface for stormwater to infiltrate. So although there's a roof, that very same stormwater flowing on the roof can just go right down to the pervious surface that would have been flowing on anyways. Whereas if it's a perimeter wall foundation, it just wouldn't be able to do that.
Is that 100%?
We've never considered that exemption to apply to, that exemption is generally applied to somebody that comes in and is only putting in a 120 square foot. That's generally the way it's interpreted.
I thought it was more for an accessory building.
For an accessory building. So I did not realize that was not included, and I did not realize it was covered. The porch was covered. So I would say that, actually I need to check that. What is the, I need to check, what would the impervious cover be? I just think it needs to be identified for the zoning board.
Yeah, well, it's stated on the.
They'll need to make that determination as to whether it's exempt or not, I think. The zoning board.
Yeah, just to read that part of the high water table overlay district ordinance, it states total impervious coverage shall not exceed 15%. Elevated structures with roofs allowing for groundwater infiltration that are less than 120 square feet in size are exempt from calculating the amount of impervious coverage. In sub-district
Could you both speak
B,
up a little?
in sub-district B or sub-district A.
Did you say that the porch roof?
The drainage calculations basically say that enough of the roof has to be collected by gutters and transported to the stormwater management system.
Enough of the roof. Does the porch roof get, does the water
It
porch roof?
could be. Just the amount of additional square feet of the proposed dwelling roof needs to be collected and transported to the stormwater management system.
The amount of the additional, in other words, the 611 square feet?
That's correct.
And more than that is just up to the capacity of the groundwater?
Well, you wouldn't need to collect more of the roof than that.
Okay. Could you just take us through, and I know this is, you know, engineering stuff, but perhaps you could just reiterate. As when you got the project, there were 5 test holes, and the test holes did not support a greater amount of, the test holes were for the purpose of determining.
Yeah, I could go over that.
Yeah,
the,
because apparently you had to do 2 more in order to get where you
Right,
are now.
right. What happened is, back in, let's see, it would have been February '08, we had 5 test pits on the property, and which is the number of test pits required for this lot size by the ordinance. And so we got the results of those, and just, you know, it was what it was. And at some point during the design process, it dawned on us, Mark had pointed out, well, where 2 of the test pits were done was in the area of the original septic system, test holes 3 and 4. And those are the only test pits on the property that show fill. So they, having been done in the area where the original septic system was, they are not representative of the native soil conditions of the property. So we revisited with the soil evaluator, who you know, concurred with us. Yes, if you're digging test pits or in an old septic area, you're obviously not going to get, you know, what the native soil conditions are. So we had 2 additional test holes done that met the location requirements of the ordinance. And so basically, the 2 that were done in the old septic area are disqualified. Doing the 2 additional holes that gave us 5 holes, which is the number required. And all 5 of those are indicative of the native soil properties on the property.
So that if you had had to stay with the original 5 test holes, you would not be able to do the project as designed, is that correct?
Yeah, but we would, but if it was pointed out to us from day one, oh, well, watch out for that area because that's where the original septic system was, we wouldn't have done that. They were just inadvertently done there because the soil scientist didn't have that knowledge of the property. So, I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to use the soil data of a disturbed part of the site, especially in an old septic system. It's not going to give you a true indication of what the natural conditions are of the property.
Lisa, I want to go back to this pervious calculation and the covered roof issue. Have you had enough time to take a look at that? Because I've got another question for John if you need a couple more minutes.
Yes, it's in the section development within subdistrict B. But when you review a subdistrict A application, you also refer to those standards. Those standards must be met as well. And the language is that elevated structures with roofs allowing for groundwater infiltration that are less than 120 square feet in size are exempt when calculating this percentage, the amount of impervious surface coverage in subdistrict B or subdistrict A.
So is the conclusion then that John's calculations are correct? We don't need to go back and revisit the covered porch, that issue that Duncan does?
Lisa, does that sentence read elevated structures with roofs that allow for groundwater infiltration?
Roofs allowing for groundwater infiltration that are less than 120 square feet in size are exempt from calculating this percentage.
I guess what I'm asking is it the elevated